Hello. Hi, it's National Poetry Day, and across the UK, lots of schools have been celebrating, and we've celebrated, haven't we? Mm-hmm. In the Quad, we had winners of 7, 8 and 9, and some of the runners up reading their poems, which were lovely, and very moving in some instances, weren't they? Mm-hmm. Really extraordinary images, which some of them will probably be on the website later. Anyway, and we're celebrating ourselves by choosing our own poems, not necessarily our favourite poems, but things we've just sort of turned up or found. And then we're going to do some blackout poetry, which we'll explain as we do more every year, and then they'll be read out as well. So I will start. Okay. Does anybody know this book, The Poetry Pharmacy? Lulu, you do, don't you? Sienna? Okay. This is put together by William Seacart. There are 2 editions, The Poetry Pharmacy Returns and The Poetry Pharmacy, and it's really what Stephen Fry says, balm for the soul. Balm means sort of medicine, calming, really a way to heal yourself if you've got a problem. Not because we can always heal ourselves by writing, a journal or what have you, but also reading poetry for some reason because it's quite short. Okay, so for example, it has things like feeling down, being defeated, when you're getting better after an illness, and this one is fear of the unknown, but also it's good for this year's theme. Anybody remember what the theme was for this year? Evie? Choice, yes, absolutely. Okay, so I do not know this poet, but apparently it's one of the most often prescribed because of fear. And it's called What If This Road? What if this road that has held no surprises these many years decided not to go home after all? What if it could turn left or right with no more ado than a kite tail? What if its tarry skin were like a long, supple bolt of cloth that is shaken and rolled out and takes a new shape from the contours beneath? And if it chose to lay itself down in a new way around a blind corner, across hills you must climb without knowing what's on the other side, who would not hanker to be going at all risks? Who wants to know a story's end, or where a road will go? Like that way, it says chose to lay itself down in a new way. Roads are sometimes inexorable, and sometimes they can take us to a different place. Yeah. I like that very much.
I think that, yeah.
I didn't know it until today. There we are.
A new poem.
New poem.
Always
new author too. Phew. Yeah. Okay. Right, Emily, do you want to start? Come and swap seats with me. Let's take my tea elsewhere.
Oh, Miss Huntley's mask is... You left your mask on the seat as well.
Oh, dear.
There we go. Thank you, Dave.
Good girl. Thank you. Sorry for me. Musical chairs. Musical chairs.
You want to explain why you did that book as well?
Yeah. Well, I picked this book because...
Show it to the camera.
If you look inside, it's got really beautiful illustrations of animals, and it's mostly birds, and I picked this poem.
Do you want to say what the book's called, by the way?
The Lost Spells.
By
Robert McFarlane and Jackie Morris. Ancient oak hears with ancient ears, sees with ancient eyes the snow of another winter, the glow of this new sunrise. Birch is the watching tree, cherry is the giving tree, ash is the burning tree, and oak is the waiting tree. 300 years to grow, 300 more to thrive, 300 years to die, 900 years alive.
Oh, lovely.
That's lovely. We hope anyway. 900 years.
Well, yes, quite. That's what it should be. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Trees are amazing things.
They are.
They really are.
Thank you, Emily. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, musical swap again.
Evie looks like she's ready to go, so... There's a bit of musical chairs here going on.
Yeah. So this book is called Staying Alive, and it's a collection of many poems. So this one I found is called Considering the Snail by Tom Gunn. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The snail pushes through a green night, for the grass is heavy with water, and meets over the bright path he makes, where rain has brightened by the earth's dark. He moves in a wood of desire, pale antlers barely stirring as he hunts. I cannot tell what power is at work, drenched there with purpose, knowing nothing. What is a snail's fury? All that I think is if later I parted the blades above the tunnel, and I saw a thin trail of broken white across litter. I'd never have imagined the slow passion to that deliberate progression.
What did you like about that?
I really like it because it's basically describing how a snail moves, and to me that's really fun because I used to have pet snails. It was basically first lockdown, just got bored, collected them from my garden and put them in a candle holder.
That's what I did. Not in a candle holder. I did it in like a plastic box and I gave them raspberries and they got really rotten. I let them go because one got eaten by a bird.
Oh. I didn't know this would become a habit. Wow, this is interesting, isn't it?
News to me.
I know. It's like, wow. Interesting. Okay. We'll have to have one on pets I've loved and writing about them.
Yeah, good call. We both that.
They were really nice snails. I called them Bob and Babs.
I had a ladybird.
Did
I
you?
accidentally suffocated it.
I called my snails Flash and Zuma.
And were they?
Zuma was the hibernating one. Well, Zuma. I saw him and he was asleep half the time. Flash, he was really fast, but I didn't see him for about 3 months. I was so scared because I actually bought a tank for them, and I put them down with moss and I made it all nice. And then I was like, where is he? And I didn't want to overturn the moss. And then we found eggs, and then we had baby snails. I released them last summer because I had to go on holiday.
Yeah.
So that was a nice thing.
I didn't have any pets. I only had my plants to look after.
They good company too, I'm sure.
I have guinea pigs. The guinea pigs had babies, even though they were both meant to be girls. We had 5 babies.
Wow.
They were so
Nursery then.
cute.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. Lulu, do you want to go next?
Thank you, Evie.
Yeah, go on then. Is it something you've written or?
Ever the modest
Yes,
poet
ever
is
the
Lulu.
modest.
Basically, I was thinking of picture books because they're one of the best form of poetry, I think. And over lockdown, my auntie wanted me to read all of these picture books for her nursery that she works at, and then Barnes took it over, so it became this big thing. But anyway, one of my favourite ones I read was one that was read to me when I was little, and it's called No Matter What. Mm-hmm. It's really cute, and I've got the pictures here. I don't know if you can see them, but I'll have to read from them, so I don't know how I'm going to do this. But
I'll just do that.
Small was feeling grim and dark, playing toss and fling and squash, yell and scream and bang and crash, break and snap and bash and batter. Good grief, said Large, what is the matter? Small said, I'm a grim and grumpy little Small, and nobody loves me at all. Oh, Small, said Large, grumpy or not, I'll always love you no matter what. Small said, if I was a grizzly bear, would you still love me? Would you still care? Of course, said Large, bear or not, I'll always love you no matter what. Small said, but if I turned into a bug, would you still love me and give me a hug? Of course, said Large, bug or not, I'll always love you no matter what. No matter what, said Small and smiled, what if I was a crocodile? Large said, I'd hug you close and tight and tuck you up in bed each night. Does love wear out, said Small, does it break or bend? Can you fix it, stick it, does it mend? Oh, help, said Large, I'm not that clever. I just know I'll love you forever. Small said, but what about when we're dead and gone? Would you love me then? Does love go on? Large held Small snug as they looked out at the night, at the moon in the dark and the stars shining bright. Small, look at the stars, how they shine and glow, but some of these stars died a long time ago. Still they shine in the evening skies, love like starlight never dies. And then there's a cute little picture at the end. Yeah.
That's lovely.
So yeah, that's a cute poem book. Yeah, that's what I've got.
And did you have that when you were a child?
Yeah. I had lots of picture books. I was a big
Yeah.
picture book person. I still am.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very warm, fuzzy feeling inside after. Thank you.
Sienna? Really, because I'm going peripatetically around the room.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
you're working your way
Yeah,
back
I
to the
am.
seat. It's,
Yeah.
it does minimise the amount of movement around the table too. So
Yeah.
Who's moving where?
I should just go and get another seat, really.
Yeah.
too late
I'm gonna
now.
sit on the-
I think this
Sometimes
is
go and sit in the ladder in a minute.
So,
that's like punishment. Sorry, Sienna, go on.
I quite enjoy the ladder. It reminds me I'm in the library.
I picked a poem from the Orchard Book of Poems. It's got quite a cool front cover. It's very pretty. I did pick one at random. Didn't realise that it was by Lord Byron until Lulu pointed it out, and I thought that was interesting because I learnt about him a few weeks ago as part of Frankenstein context. And it's called She Walks in Beauty.
Oh, one of my favourites.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace, which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek, and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. It was quite cute.
Yeah. What made you pick that one?
Just thought it sounded really pretty when I read it. Yeah,
It's got one of those famous opening lines in poetry.
Mhm.
yeah, it's really nice.
That's great.
One of the romantics, of course.
Yeah,
Bad, bad, and dangerous to know.
it's a very interesting character.
Yeah.
That's one way of putting it. He had an interesting and varied life.
Yes,
say that.
he did.
Did a lot.
That
It is.
infamous weekend
Yes.
month in 1816 when there was no summer
Mm-hmm.
and the vampires came
Yeah.
out. Yes. Vampires.
Oh no! Don't even start. You stay quiet. You.
Right, we'll go straight on with Miss Ria.
Yes,
All right,
please.
sure. I'll swap with you, Sienna.
Yes.
Don't know if they have a sit down.
I'm sitting down.
She's still moving around. I take her. She's in your vacated seat there. So
Okay. I chose one from this anthology, which is A Poem for Every Feeling. It's sort of like the Poetry Pharmacy, but a bit more kind of loose with the themes. But
Poetry pharmacies, its categories are quite serious, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
They really are genuinely, trying to
Quite-
help with mental health.
yeah, but this one's all about, there are sections called hunger, fathers, wanting, waiting, things like that. So they're kind of a bit more broad. But I chose this one called So Much Happiness by Naomi Shihab Nye, which is just about being happy, and it's very nice. It is difficult to know what to do with so much happiness. With sadness there is something to rub against, a wound to tend with lotion and cloth. When the world falls in around you, you have pieces to pick up, something to hold in your hands like ticket stubs or change. But happiness floats. It doesn't need you to hold it down. It doesn't need anything. Happiness lands on the roof of the next house singing and disappears when it wants to. You are happy either way. Even the fact that you once lived in a peaceful tree house and now live over a quarry of noise and dust cannot make you unhappy. Everything has a life of its own. It too could wake up filled with possibilities of coffee cake and ripe peaches, and love even the floor which needs to be swept, the soiled linens and scratched records. Since there is no place large enough to contain so much happiness, you shrug, you raise your hand, and it flows out of you like everything you touch. You are not responsible, you take no credit, as the night sky takes no credit for the moon, but continues to hold it and share it, and in that way be known. It was a nice one.
Yeah.
Just about what to do when you are very happy and that feeling of, I don't know,
Make the
warmth.
most of it.
Yeah.
How to maximise your happiness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought it was sweet.
And appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's my choice.
Good choice.
I'll leave it here.
We all like happiness.
Yes.
Eloise? Yeah.
We'll do a swap.
I think I know who's going last. This reminds me of lunchtime. It's lunchtime all over again. I was last time.
This poem is from a book called Poetry Pie by Roger McGough, I think they say. And this is called The Scarecrow Replies. Another scary scarecrow verse. Honestly, it's just not fair. My reputation's such a curse. It's birds I'm here to scare. Not children or townsfolk out for a breath of fresh air. These horror stories are a joke. It's birds I'm here to scare. I didn't choose these ragged clothes, dirty straw instead of hair. Why you're frightened, heaven knows. It's birds I'm here to scare. I can't help the way I'm made. All I ask is to be aware. It's my job. Don't be afraid. It's birds I'm here to scare.
Oh, that's great.
That is good, yeah.
That's lovely, Eloise. Thank you. It's always like funny. Have you seen Words with Gummidge? Did you see it? It was put on last year. It's still on iPlayer. Words with Gummidge is Scarecrow.
Didn't they do a new version of it recently?
It's the new version. There
Oh,
are
you
two-
were
there are
talking about
two-
the new version.
Yeah, there are two
Yeah.
episodes now.
Right.
It's really and a very diverse and very green sort of message as well.
Good.
It's great. It's really good.
Updated.
Sure.
Poem for every...
night of the year. So I chose this book because I have it at home and it's become like a routine for my family to read one every night. And
That's really good. I
my
like that.
my mum found this one and she really likes it and she reads it to me whenever I'm sad or something. So it's called Love You More by James Carter. Do I love you to the moon and back? No, I love you more than that. I love you to the desert sands, the mountains, stars, the planets, and I love you to the deepest seas, and deeper still through history. Before, beyond, I love you then, I love you now. I'll love you when the sun's gone out, the moon's gone home, and when the stars are fully grown. When I no longer say these words, I'll give them to the winds, the birds, so that they will still be heard. I love you.
Oh,
That's great.
That's so nice.
I can see why your mum reads that to you. That's a really nice tradition your family has as well. It's fantastic.
Great.
I love that book.
I want to get that poem, by the way. I want to use that myself for somewhere. Thank you, Sophie. Hello, there.
I'm going to be reading one that I wrote from me.
Yay, well done.
Excellent.
Excellent, that's what we want to see.
Excellent.
It doesn't rhyme.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
fine. That's fine.
Brave girl.
It's called Is It Always Right? Is it helping the people who need it? Are you making the wrong decision by going with what other people say? Is it what you want by ruining other people's care? Are you a person who cares, or do you want to destroy lives? Will you stand up and say, no, that's wrong, or I will join to destroy? If you choose to destroy, you're going to watch the world slowly crumble before your eyes. What are you going to do to help? Are you going to sit or stand and fight? Do you think? Because if you think a little more. Right wins, wrong never stands. Are your decisions always right?
I love it. I love it.
Well done, Daya. Well
Well
done.
done. Well done.
Am I going to move it to the... I'm just going to move next door. Well, you know, it's just... May as well. You know, I don't want to be the one who breaks the chain. All right, so I'm going to read another poem, as I did at lunchtime, from this collection from my good friend, Chris Riddell. Poems to Live Your Life By. And this one... Now, the reason I chose this one is I Am Very Bothered by Simon Armitage. And it's about the choices that perhaps men make that, you know, and just as a plea almost to just try to be patient with us and understand why we are like we are. Okay? So, I am very bothered. I am very bothered when I think of the bad things I have done in my life. Not least that time in the chemistry lab when I held a pair of scissors by the blades and played the handles in the naked lilac flavour of the Bunsen burner. Then called your name and handed them over. Oh, the unrivalled stench of branded skin as you slipped your thumb and middle finger in that then couldn't shake off the 2 burning rings, marked, the doctor said, for eternity. Don't believe me, please, if I say that was just my butterfingered way at 13 of asking you if you would marry me. So, yeah.
Serious injury.
Yeah. It's just the stupid things that men do sometimes. So, there you go.
Boys do.
Boys and by extension men, because men can be boys too. So I'll leave you with that.
Thanks very much.
That's okay.
Okay. Right, so while we do our while we do our fun activity, we're going to have a bit of a hiatus, those of you who are watching at home or on the bus or in your car. So we'll come back when we've all created our own unique poem. Okay, that would help, wouldn't it?
So this poem is all about this murder. And it makes, when you sort of read it, it sort of makes no sense and no rhyming.
That's fine.
That's okay.
No
Don't
problem.
worry, just go for it.
I am going to approach another angle. Let us go back to the scene of the crime. H. Hildegard, my friend, an extremely expensive handkerchief, an object, deluxe, handmade. Passengers, likely to own such a handkerchief. Not a worthy woman, not that class of English woman. Handkerchief, but not an expensive wisp of cambric, costing perhaps 200 francs, and certainly not 2 women on the train who would likely to own such handkerchief. Let us see the letter H. The 2 women I refer to are Christian and Natalia. I don't know how to pronounce it.
That's okay.
All right.
Exactly. The other woman is you. Her. Accident, would they say. Consider that Kristen, instead of Elena, ran over the small spot of grease dropped to cover up the idea. An idea, however slight, I find it. One of the Countess' baggage is one that happens to run over the first initial on top of the case, off and put on again in a different place. You surely must turn yourself round and approach an angle of the case. How was this murder intended to appear to everybody? Imagine for a snow train proceeded on its normal course. What then would have happened? The murder at the Italian frontier early this morning. Much of the same Italian police. The threatening letters. M. McQueen have told his stories. I imagine man men would have passed through the compartment just before 1 o'clock, and the wagon lit uniform would have been found cast off. It was very, very hard to understand.
It's curious as to
You did very well.
Agatha Christie, you did very well.
Yeah,
yes,
you
it's
did. You
Agatha
did really
Christie.
well. A nice, it's a very nice summary in some ways. It's really good. Okay, Sophie, do you want to go next? Because I know you usually like to get off. And then Eloise, yeah?
This poem is about having a go. Again, doesn't make much sense, but you know. Don't worry, you'll soon catch up. The temptation of exploring, she ought to be paying attention. Ask a question, I wonder. I have. Difficult. Can you tell me? Yes. That is really very good. How much? I think most things, although I'm afraid. See if you can.
Ooh. Intrigue. Yeah, this is it. You're getting do a nice little tour of this table.
Yeah. It's very short and kind of makes no sense. But
That's fine.
their wicked witch was only an ordinary little girl, tired of watching curiosity. The girl is pleasant, but you worried she knew only her friends. When she thought the road was not far away, the birds pointed to the rest.
Intriguing.
You're very enigmatic. They all sound very. It's good.
Beginning.
Yes.
Put your names on them, and we can put them up on the board.
Eloise, I'm writing your name on this one.
Okay.
Is it me next?
Yeah, you next. Okay.
Thank you, Eloise.
Okay, mine was blew out poetry.
All right.
Okay, let me try and decipher my scrawlings. So I had the Wizard of Oz. So I don't know if that will...
We'll see.
Although he was certainly afraid, he turned to face the fierce beast, who stopped short and looked at him in surprise. Drawing a long breath of relief, he was glad of it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Sounds like a haiku, that one.
Yeah, a little bit. That's it.
Sienna, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I did do like a story on my paper, but then I thought, no, that's too long, so I just picked, shortened it a lot and wrote it down.
Okay, right.
Because it was very much like a story. I had Wizard of Oz too. Brave people marched near. A powerful witch made up her mind. A golden cap, a circle of diamonds and rubies. The charm. She fought against the fierce wolves and wild crows and stinging bees. Only one way left. She stood upon both feet and cried in a loud voice. Now, the charm. The sky darkened.
Ooh.
That's very cohesive.
Lulu?
I wrote mine down as well, just so I can
It does make it easier.
I quite like the idea of wind being disgruntled air, which is what this time.
Yeah,
I had
like
Agatha
that
Christie.
Agatha Christie. Okay.
What of the wind, afraid of being accused of the crime, I think unconsciously, to shield man, confused, bowed silence, suddenly a blow, the crime, a curious abandon, with turned back and shut eyes, and that remark leaving my mind. I don't know if that makes sense, but...
Leave it behind so that we can put it up.
So I also got Agatha Christie, and it's an absolute mess because I could not decide on what words to do, but I've worked out something. She said I've got plenty other frightful things to read. Poor creature. As far as I can make out, she was most interested in what I told her. She was on her first journey, of course. The door next to them opened, and she stepped out. I'm dead scared of what's wrong with my daughter. I don't really understand what I wrote, to be honest. She's next door to me. I thought I heard trying the handle. I dare say I'm foolish, but there it is. I'm downright scared of my daughter. That's pretty much all I've got because I've got no idea.
That's good. That one. I like that one. Emily, you ready?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
She says reluctantly.
Mine's pretty long.
That's okay.
All right. Well, it's all right.
Might be easier to read it as well.
Miss was late in school. Most children begin at 5 or even before, but parents weren't very concerned. Forgotten to make the arrangements, she was 5 when she entered. A bleak brick building called Cruncham Hall. About 200 pupils aged under 12 years old. The supreme commander of this middle-aged lady was Trunchbull. Naturally, the bottom class, where 18 small girls called Honey could have been lovely with blue hair. Smash, 1,000 pieces, a porcelain figure. Jennifer, who raised her voice, was seen to doubt. She possessed that rare child under her care. The bewilderment and fear often overwhelm young children. For the first time in their lives are herded into a classroom and told to obey orders. Warmth shone out of Mrs. face, confused, homesick, new to the class. Bull, a gigantic holy terror, a fierce tyrannical monster who frightened the life, an aura of menace about her. At a distance, she came up close. Feel the dangerous heat radiating from her, a red-hot rod of metal. She marched. Miss never walked. She always marched. A stormtrooper with long strides, she marched along a corridor, snorting as she went. If children happened to be ploughed like a tank, small people bouncing off to the left and right. Thank we meet many people like her in this world. They do exist, all of us, one of a lifetime. Behave as an enraged rhinoceros out the bush, climb the nearest tree, stay there. This and her appearance is almost impossible to describe.
This is school for my nightmares, this one.
I kept crossing out the wrong words.
Yeah, that's easily done. That's easily done. Shall I go next, Miss Emily? I'm not going to switch seats, yeah. Right, I got great expectations, so... pantomime astonishment upon my half salutes to Miss Skiffins. Like her escort, she might have been aged. A frequent visitor at the castle begged me to give my attention and disappeared. Miss Skiffins shut up Pleasant George, who came to this gate to give me an opportunity of taking his pocket unpunctual ignorance. I feared I had the possibility of possessing a generous soul. For all these reasons, I wish my present income to keep him wound up silent. Say you'll help me, said I. You are right, he returned. I'll put on my considering cap. Thank you. Very surreal.
Where did you get the castle from?
It's the when Wemmick takes Pip back to...
Oh, it is
the
Wemmick.
Aged.
It is the aged king.
Yeah, I didn't have Wemmick. Blanked him out.
Right, okay, right. I couldn't, yeah, I didn't remember. Yeah. It's a long time since I've read it. Right, this is my version of Matilda. Jumping about a foot in the air. Up. Yes. No. I feel like a fool. I can move things, surprisingly. Home now. Home now, please. Come along, then. Walked, lost in thought. Forget everything. Promise? Promise? Just a tiny little bit? Please forget. 3 last things. Please smile.
Snapshot of thinking whilst at school. Almost.
Yeah. It's when she goes for tea with Miss Honey, isn't it? But I made something completely different out of it. These are lovely. Well done, everybody.
Yes.
Right.
Good job. Good variety.
Yeah. Shall we have a last poem from Miss Gill?
Okay.
Where Hope Comes From. Go on.
Okay. Do you want me to read the poem Where Hope Comes From? Yeah. So that's the last one. So yeah, as we were discussing, this one was written. It's a collection all written by Nikita Gill, and written especially for our post-COVID world. So, where hope comes from. It comes from heartache, and it grows like a lone sapling from the ashes of loss. And it carves its way out of the heavy heart of tragedy and its heavy cost. And it rises like a soldier thought lost, returning home to his mother. And it smiles like the calm, clear sky following weeks of one storm after another. And maybe this is why, when Pandora opened the box that carried such calamities which afflicted all of mankind, gentle hope emerged from there too. What else helps us overcome suffering, if not giving hope a chance to bloom?
Yeah.
Nice sentiment to end on.
Thank you. Nice.
Thank you, Miss Gill.
Yes. So there we are. National Poetry Day.
National Poetry Day.
Back together.
Yes.
Nice.
Happy National Poetry Day, everyone.
Yeah. Happy National Poetry Day. and a good selection, a good choice. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Great to see you all.
Until next time.
Until next time, yeah.